And teens have a lot to deal with, but one issue that carries a heavy impact is bullying. The problem got worse with social media bringing about cyberbullying. In the legislative session this year, a new law was created to curb bullying. Joining us today, Cassandra Clariett, the Director of Clinical Services, our Parkwood Behavioral Health System. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm so glad we're having a conversation about this. It's the first day of school. It's just this past few days ago, and a lot of parents are thinking about this, and they really should. Let's talk about the impact of bullying. It's not harmless fun for kids like it used to be, or people think.
Absolutely not. Bullying can certainly have lifelong effects.
Yeah.
Of course, childhood, that is the foundation of our life. And if bullying happens or occurs during childhood, those children actually grow up with low self-esteem, low confidence in self. Sometimes they lack communication skills, advocacy for self, and ultimately suicide.
Yeah.
And which that's another big concern right now associated with bullying.
It's a big concern because we're seeing a growth in that area, and that's really, really concerning. So when you say bullying, there are a lot of different types of bullying. What are the most common forms of bullying, and where do you see or hear it takes place the most?
I would have to say schools for sure.
Yeah.
It's happening in the schools. Some types of bullying include like physical harm. Some are just verbal, and then there's that emotional. And we feel like that emotional means nothing, but honestly, that emotional can have lasting impacts, implications for sure. Kids tend to think it's harmless just to say, hey, you're ugly. And that child goes home and they're just constantly replaying that in their mind. I'm ugly, I'm ugly. And then before you know it, they're now isolating and then dealing with symptoms around depression, and this ultimately leads them to like psychiatric hospitals or the need for outpatient services.
And listen, we're also got these cell phones that are attached to their hands at all times, at least it feels like it. And that is a great avenue for cyberbullying, and that's growing as well. What are some concerns about that?
Well, just the threats.
Yeah.
For the most part, when we think about cyber and bullying, that's where a lot of threats are going on, saying what you're going to do to this person, or maybe even belittling them and making fun of like an embarrassing moment that they've had. And again, from that kid may feel afraid to go to school or just afraid to tell somebody about it because they're feeling like they're nothing and they're useless at that point. So yeah, cyberbullying is certainly a hot trend right now as well.
And you know, it can be so easily spread. You know what I mean? Getting on social media and making a statement or something like that, and that can really bring anyone down, especially a child who can't deal with those emotional feelings. Okay, so you got parents at home who are watching, and then what tips do you have for parents who might be concerned about their child who might be a victim of bullying?
I would say talk to your children. Always talk to your children. And even if you feel like your child is not being bullied, maybe your child is the bully.
Okay.
Talk to your children, express the importance of self-love, but also communicating any type of concerns that they may have, doing check-ins with them as well. Like, how was school today? How are you getting along with your friends? If you notice that your children are no longer talking to a specific peer that they were once just constantly calling their name and talking to them, and now they're not mentioning that peer, ask those questions. Why? What happened to this person? Because there could be some bullying going on.
There could be. I like that statement. You said maybe your kid is the bullying. Because there's a lot of parents, never my baby. Or never my baby, folks. It might be, and you may be contributing to the problem and not even know it. Okay, we talked about this at the top of the show a little bit about this new law that punishes teens for bullying by suspending their driver's license or ability to get one for an entire year. What do you think about this? Do you think this is an effective way to get people to stop bullying?
Well, anytime we have lawmakers putting an eye on a topic or a trend that's harming our children, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a start. I certainly feel like that, you know, imposing a consequence is a good thing, but consequences don't necessarily change behavior. They can stop behavior, but we want to focus on changing the behavior. For example, you take my license, my ability to drive to high school functions or, you know, functions with my friends, but after that year, have I really learned anything, or
Yeah.
was I just missing out on driving? So I think we're headed in the right direction, but maybe we should incorporate a court-ordered counseling piece to that, because we need to figure out, why are they bullying? Because nobody wakes up and says, I want to be a bully today.
Yeah.
There's some mental things going on with a child who's choosing to be mean, harmful, and just hateful towards another child.
Yeah.
So I agree with the law. I would certainly love for our lawmakers to get mental health experts involved with processes like this, so we can speak to, like, hey, let's also incorporate a court order for some services here. It's mandatory and not optional, whereas now sometimes it's like it's optional for kids to go to services.
You're absolutely right. Very good. I just love you being here. You have to come back sometime.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thank you so much. All right, that was Cassandra Clariett with Parkwood Behavioral Health System. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.